Two teenagers ride horses through the streets of an apocalyptic world. Their mission to retrieve elevator parts. Charlie is full of curiosity about the youth before her. Just then, Ollie spots several figures ahead. Their attire marks them as the stalkers, apparently scouring for supplies. Ollie realized that he absolutely couldn't be discovered by them, especially since the stalkers in the building weren't on good terms. Immediately, he took Charlie and hid in a bowling alley. Charlie is excited about this place because she has never played bowling before and is eager to give it a try. However, as the stalkers' voices echo from outside, they quickly duck down. Ollie took out a gun from the counter, ready at any moment. Fortunately, the stalkers merely pass by. Charlie is puzzled about how Ollie knew about the gun, to which he replies that he used to live nearby and often came bowling. Intrigued, Charlie begs Ollie to teach her how to play. Reluctantly, Ollie agrees, hoping to finish quickly. During the lesson, their accidental touches stir something in them, both being teenagers in the throes of adolescence. With Ollie's guidance, Charlie makes a perfect throw and exults like a child, happier than she's been since the apocalypse began. Sensing the awkwardness, Ollie quickly decides to leave with Charlie. After the bowling lesson, Charlie looks at Ollie with admiration, even resting her hand on his stomach as they head to their destination. They soon arrived at their destination for this journey. The previous cavalryman mentioned that there were quite a few infected zombies inside. Charlie, thinking the zombies are on the first floor, suggests climbing outside to reach higher levels. Ollie, somewhat puzzled, stopped Charlie and asked, "Are you really risking your life just to move into Victor's building?" Charlie nods, adding she wants to help him become a knight sooner. Touched, Ollie gives Charlie a walkie-talkie, cautioning her to be quick and avoid radiation. Geared up, Charlie begins her adept and agile climb, reaching the second floor in less than a minute.
Hands up.
It's the stalkers, and this time, the leader is a woman who confiscated Ollie's sidearm. She eyed Ollie's clean clothes and the distant horse, easily deducing they were Victor's people. The woman demanded to know what the girl had gone inside for. Ollie remained silent, head bowed, receiving a punch from the woman. Ollie was then commanded to lead the way. The stalkers believed Victor's men were there for something valuable. Ollie pondered how to escape as the woman pushed him to the door, instructing him to open it and scout ahead. Ollie cleverly asked the woman if he could put on a mask, but his real intention was to stick close to the door and listen to what was happening inside. Under the woman's urging, Ollie unlatched the door and swiftly hid behind it. Radiation-affected zombies surged from inside. Due to the narrow passage, the guns of several of the stalkers were ineffective and could only become food for the zombies. Hiding behind the door, Ollie watched in horror as the zombies devoured the group. Spotting a handgun on the ground, he immediately grabbed it and entered the building, softly calling for Charlie on the second floor. While searching, Ollie was confronted by a zombie. He hesitated, noticing the zombie's clothing resembled his father's. This delay allowed the zombie to attack him. In a struggle, Charlie arrived just in time to eliminate the zombie. Ollie realized Charlie's mask was missing. She explained it was lost during the fight. Charlie then led Ollie to the elevator. Ollie was astonished by the number of zombies Charlie had killed, and some she had locked in a room. Their urgent task was to open the elevator and remove the circuit board. Charlie wedged something in the door gap and pried the elevator door open. Dismantling the circuit board would take some time. Charlie, aware of the incident on the first floor, expressed gratitude to Ollie for not betraying her to the stalkers. She felt guilty for deceiving Ollie and decided to come clean. Charlie revealed she was sent by Morgan to the building. The plan was to turn off the rooftop lights tonight, preventing zombies from gathering downstairs, allowing Morgan to rescue Grace and little Morgan. Ollie, a staunch supporter of the building, was angered, validating Howard's suspicions. Charlie retorted, insisting she wouldn't listen to Morgan anymore and abandon the plan. She admitted wanting to live that way, initially planning to seize the building with Morgan, but doing so would endanger Ollie. Listening to Charlie's confession, Ollie was somewhat incredulous. Behind them, the door was about to give way, so Charlie had to speed up the removal of the circuit board. Once Charlie finished, zombies broke in. In a decisive moment, Ollie apologized and pushed Charlie into the elevator. He needed to protect the building, and Charlie was an unstable factor. Ollie wasn't sure which of her words were true. Charlie called out in horror for Ollie, but only attracted zombies.
While you're doing this, just please come back, I'm gonna die!
Ollie contacted Howard, indicating he had retrieved the item. Charlie's pleading voice continued to echo inside the room. She said, "Do you know why I didn't run away before? Because I didn't want to leave you." It was evident that Charlie, in the throes of her first romantic feelings, had fallen for Ollie, listening to Charlie's constant pleas and looking at the zombie on the ground, dressed just like his father. Ollie couldn't bear it anymore but still left the place. After a while, Charlie stopped shouting, and Ollie had already left her behind. She didn't know how to get out. In Charlie's moment of despair, gunshots could be heard from outside. Ollie couldn't bear to leave Charlie alone. He opened the door, realizing he had feelings for her too. He told Charlie he wouldn't reveal her plans to Victor and might even join her. Two teenagers, in the throes of adolescence, harbored affection for each other. Minutes later, pondering his return to Howard, Ollie turned to find Charlie had fainted. He urgently contacted Dory. Back at the building, Charlie was rushed to the emergency room. Naomi and Grace emerged half an hour later, stating Charlie was stable but, like the previous writer, had been irradiated. Her condition was nearly terminal. Ollie was filled with grief and guilt. Returning with the elevator parts, Ollie was affirmed by Howard and was close to becoming a knight upon Victor's approval, yet he couldn't rejoice. Worried about his girlfriend Charlie, he visited her ward and held her gently. Charlie confessed her fear. Ollie took her to a room, preparing a surprise. When Charlie opened her eyes, the sight was breathtaking. The room was filled with butterflies. Ollie had stolen all of Victor's butterfly specimens. Charlie, concerned about Victor's discovery, was reassured by Ollie's declaration of indifference for his own sake. As long as she was happy, it might have been the best gift Charlie ever received.
What is wrong?
I'm gonna be there this time.
Late at night, Charlie stared out the window alone. Ollie covered her with a blanket, asking what was wrong. Charlie mentioned her promise to Morgan to turn off the rooftop lights. Pondering how to inform him of the situation, Ollie assured her, "Don't worry, my dear, I'll find a way. Leave everything to me." The rooftop of the building was fitted with searchlights, intended to gather countless zombies below as a protective umbrella. Ollie, however, thought about turning off this light. Ollie looked around the rooftop, which was deserted at the moment. Although he found it strange that there were no personnel on duty, he didn't want to miss this opportunity. He was just about to pull down the circuit breaker.
So this is why he sent her.
No wonder there wasn't anyone upstairs. They had been ambushed here waiting for Charlie. Ollie didn't expect Howard to be so suspicious. Howard asked, "Morgan plans to turn off the lights. Then what?" Ollie said he didn't know either. Howard didn't want to waste words. As he was about to draw his gun, Ollie rushed up and punched him. Howard stopped two cavalrymen from shooting with his hand. He wanted to teach this brat a lesson himself. Unexpectedly, the usually gentle Howard was so good at fighting, and he locked Ollie's neck in a few moves. Ollie kept begging to be let go.
Please, Howard! Don't do it, please!
But obviously, that was impossible. Only cold-bloodedness could better protect this place. If Victor was here, he would be even more ruthless. At this moment, Charlie was still watching the butterflies. She suddenly guessed what had happened and looked incredulously downstairs. Then Charlie walked out sadly, and Naomi quickly came up to ask with concern. Seeing Howard coming out of the elevator, Charlie loudly accused him.
You killed him! You killed him! You killed him!
I suggest you back off unless you want to join him.
Howard said, "He attacked me first. I had no choice. I'm just doing my best to protect this place from being destroyed by others. If you all want the building to continue to exist, you'd better do the same." Then Dory came over and expressed her agreement with what Howard said. Naomi suddenly became confused about which side Dory was on. Dory said only cold-bloodedness could protect the building. After saying this, Howard pulled out a handgun ready to deal with Charlie.
Lay one hand on her, I will kill you myself.
Howard calmly said, "If something happens to me, Victor won't let you go." Naomi felt Howard was somewhat funny and confidently said, "Do you think Victor would?" She knew too well what kind of person Victor was. Naomi told Howard, "Compared to you, Victor needs me more. I'm the only medical personnel here if anyone gets sick or injured." Naomi continued to Howard, "Charlie and I are together. I'll take care of her. That's settled." Howard was stunned. He found he couldn't refute. He knew Victor's character too well. A thorough businessman's mind. In terms of importance, Naomi was many times more important than he was, and he could only give up. Howard left here unwillingly. Naomi turned her face and questioned Dory about what just happened. Dory said, "I had to say that. I have to gain their trust. If this place wants to become democratic, We must make Victor listen to reason. I thought Howard could do it, but now it's up to me to change Victor's mind. Dory was obviously a bit overconfident. So many people had tried to make Victor do good deeds in the past and hadn't been able to change his nature. Two men stumbled upon a huge pit, which by now had gathered countless zombies. The sight was hair-raising. This was a crater left from a nuclear explosion. Arnold guessed these zombies must have fallen in accidentally. What terrified him was that these zombies had been there for months. The radiation they carried was unimaginable. If the zombies from this place were to escape, it would be a catastrophe after the already great destruction. This also made Arnold realize the urgency of taking over Victor's building. Meanwhile, inside a submarine, Daniel's mental state was deteriorating again. With Luciana trying her best to keep the old man entertained with games, Daniel looked at the game card featuring a little boat and felt an eerie familiarity with the ship. Just then, Wes called out for Luciana. It was time to depart, to seize the building. Dwight had already located a place with weapons, but it was surrounded by hundreds of zombies. They were now setting off to support Dwight. Morgan, however, hoped Luciana would stay with Daniel, as his condition was unstable. On one hand, Daniel's abilities were exceptional, especially suitable for dealing with someone like Victor. On the other, he was a friend who deserved more care and attention. Suddenly, Wes ran over saying Daniel had disappeared. The hatch was open and a suit of protective gear was missing. Clearly, Daniel had ventured out alone. With no choice left, they decided to split up. Wes and Luciana went to look for Daniel. Sherry and Sarah went to meet up with Dwight. Daniel found himself alone in an amusement park, continuously calling out his daughter's name. As he was distracted, a zombie lunged at him. Being of advanced age, Daniel struggled but managed to eliminate the zombie. Standing up, he thought he heard his daughter calling him on the walkie-talkie. As he hurriedly replied, Daniel noticed two figures not far away. Warily, he drew his gun and demanded they remove their masks. It was Luciana and Wes, and only then did he relax his guard. Luciana asked Daniel why he had run out. Holding the card with the sailboat, he said, "My daughter is on this ship." His memory was confused. Daniel had mistaken this ship for Victor's cruise liner, not realizing his daughter had already passed away, and he had even buried her himself. He believed his daughter was on this boat. Luciana was speechless but still said, "Your daughter has already died, years ago in Mexico." However, Daniel was unwilling to believe Luciana's words. He felt that Luciana was jealous. Daniel said, "Although I care about you a lot, you're not my daughter. The one I care about the most is her, and you can never replace her."
No te hablan en serio.
Luciana was shocked at the old man's bizarre thinking, but she didn't want to argue anymore. Luciana was about to take Daniel back to the submarine, but they were soon surrounded by many people, led by Arnold.
Time to take a little trip.
By the time their masks were removed, they had been taken to the lair of the stalkers. Wes complained that it was all because of Daniel that they got caught. Undeterred, Daniel said they could kill them all. Luciana stated it was unrealistic. Their numbers were 3 times ours. Daniel seemed overly optimistic, claiming he used to be a CIA assassin and wasn't afraid of these people. Wes already considered Daniel delusional. Then, Arnold took them on a tour of their home, which was surprisingly made of abandoned ships with countless zombies underneath the supports. Arnold explained that due to Alicia's poor leadership, they had already changed homes twice. If walls can't stop these zombies, then it's better to be like the building, keeping other survivors away from us. When they reached a platform, Luciana directly asked, "What do you want from us? Why not let us leave? Perhaps we can help with your troubles." Arnold simply replied, "You can't help." However, Daniel's gaze was fixed on Arnold's waist. When Arnold turned around, Daniel snatched the gun and pointed it at him. "I just want to find my daughter. Let us go," Daniel demanded. Arnold signaled his men to stay calm and gave Daniel a provocative look. Never underestimate Daniel's ruthlessness. He raised his hand and fired, but the gun was empty. Daniel was quickly subdued. Arnold told Daniel, "We heard you blabbering on the radio inside the submarine. You shouldn't have spread your plans. We know where you found the armory. That was their real motive." Luciana stated, "We won't tell you."
And you'll end up down there.
Arnold had just finished speaking. Suddenly, Daniel's gaze fixed on a ship in the distance. He began to lose touch with reality again, believing that the ship was Victor's and that his daughter was inside. Arnold, indifferent to the delusional old man, prepared to take measures against Wes to force him to reveal the armory's location, while Luciana and Daniel were locked up again. But Daniel's attention remained on the ship, and he shared this discovery with Luciana. Luciana immediately knew Daniel was having another episode. Despite her insistence that the ship was not the one and his daughter was not on it, Daniel remained convinced. Ignoring Luciana's objections, he decided to use the location of the armory as a bargaining chip for his daughter. He called out to the guards, ready to make a deal with Arnold. At that moment, Wes was caged, threatened to be dropped unless he spoke, but he remained defiant, not willing to reveal anything. Arnold, without further words, pressed the button. Even as Wes's legs turned to jelly with fear, he refused to speak.
You know what? I would've done this anyway.
Just as Arnold was about to lower the cage, one of his men asked him to wait. Daniel declared he would reveal the armory's location in exchange for his daughter's release, pointing to the ship, claiming she was inside. Arnold smirked, feigning ignorance of Daniel's claims, but Daniel, in anger, grabbed Arnold. Arnold's men immediately restrained Daniel. Arnold told them to let Daniel go, seemingly guessing something was off with him, and deceitfully acknowledged that they had his daughter. Luciana pleaded with Arnold not to deceive an old man. Nevertheless, Arnold disregarded her pleas, demanding the coordinates from Daniel, promising to return his daughter if they were accurate. With no other option, Daniel wrote them down. Arnold then quickly sent his men to verify the location. They were locked up again. Wes was increasingly frustrated with Daniel, whose delusions had caused trouble more than once. Daniel felt he was standing by the right thing, and he confessed that the coordinates he gave were false. Arnold had dispatched half his forces 20 miles away, which would take around 24 hours to return, enough time for them to escape. Daniel had also managed to swipe a dagger from one of the men, just when Luciana thought Daniel was playing dumb. He confessed that he knew his memory was often confused, but his thoughts became incredibly clear when it came to saving his daughter. "If you help me find my daughter, we'll be very grateful to you." Naomi had treated Daniel before. He didn't have a mental illness but a deep guilt over his daughter. Daniel still had much to tell his daughter, hence his fixation on her being alive. After a while, Luciana shouted loudly for the guards. Wes quickly added that Daniel had passed out and the situation was critical. Luciana further insisted, saying, "I told you his health was poor. Don't just stand there. Come and help. If Daniel turns into a zombie, it's your fault." The young guard, not wanting such an incident, had no choice but to come in and check the situation.